It is an annual rite of spring, bringing with it excitement and emotion that can be found in no other sporting event, the NCAA Tournament. Your wait is finally over, the brackets are ready, and the drama of March Madness is about to begin. Hello everyone, I'm Greg Gumbel, and this is the NCAA Championship Basketball Selection Show, brought to you by State Farm, the #1 auto insurer. Joining me at the anchor desk, as always, my partner, Clark Kellogg. We're all set to show you the seedings and pairings, so get out your bracket sheet, get those pencils ready. Here are the basics. Of the 65 available tournament bids, 31 are automatically given to conference champions. The tournament committee hands out the remaining 34 bids on an at-large basis. An opening round game will take place on Tuesday night to narrow the field to 64 teams. But before we unveil the brackets for this season, here's a look at the final top 25 media poll of the season. There are a couple of major changes in the rankings as March Madness approaches. One team made a huge move in the poll. The Aggies of Texas A&M jumped all the way from the number 12 spot to number 6.
They're peaking at just the right time, Greg. This is exactly the way you want to be playing going into the tournament.
Also, a new team has fought its way into the top 25. The Western Michigan Broncos debut in the poll as the number 19 team. And that puts a cap on the final top 25 poll of the year. It's time to talk about the topic that has a lot of players and coaches holding their breath right now, the NCAA tournament bubble. These are the 10 teams that aren't worried as much about where they'll be playing as if they'll be playing. Clark, who jumps out at you there?
Louisiana Tech Bulldogs. And take comfort in the fact that there have been so many great showings by non-power conference schools in the tournament in the past few years. The committee has really warmed up to those conferences.
Point well taken, but they're not the only team sweating it out right now.
The Cal Poly Mustangs should have a tough time getting a bid because there are just too many talented teams from the power conferences keeping them company on the bubble. We'll see, though.
I'm sure it's been a long week for those teams, but the wait's almost over. The NCAA Selection Committee has finished its meeting, and we're ready to unveil the top 4 seeds in this year's tournament. The UCLA Bruins are the top overall seed, and they will play in the East Regional. The Selection Committee differed with the media on who the number 1 team in the country is, but the committee is the important one at this point, and we'll soon see if their faith in this team is warranted. On to the second number 1 seed, who will play in the South Regional. The Maryland Terrapins are seeking their 3rd NCAA championship in school history. The Southern Miss Golden Eagles are our 3rd number 1 seed, and they'll play in the Atlanta Regional. They return to the brackets after an extended drought of postseason play. We'll see how their players react to their first taste of March Madness. And finally, our 4th number 1 seed will play in the San Jose Regional. The Aggies of Texas A&M are in the tournament field as a number 1 seed for the first time in the history of their program. Now, here's how the brackets shape up based on where the number 1 seeds have been assigned. In one national semifinal game, the winner of the East Regional will play the winner of the South Regional. In the other semifinal game, the winner of the Atlanta Regional will play the winner of the San Jose Regional. Those games will be played on Saturday, April 4th. Then it'll be on to the national championship game on Monday night, April 6th. Anything shocking to you about those picks?
Well, when you see the selection committee deviate from the top 4 teams in the media poll, it's a little surprising. They've opened themselves up to some criticism with these picks.
So, with the number 1 seeds out of the way, it's finally time to tackle the rest of the brackets. First up, we take a look at the East Regional. The UCLA Bruins are the top seed, finishing at 25-7. In the Pac-10, they will take on the winner of the opening round play-in game between the UC Riverside Highlanders with 14 wins and the Lafayette Leopards from the Patriot League. And now, the number 8 seed, the New Mexico State Aggies, come into the tournament first in their conference during the regular season and were losers in their first game at their conference tournament. They're going to play the number 9 seed, the West Virginia Mountaineers, who were semifinalists in their conference tournament, finishing at 22-11. The Mississippi State Bulldogs enter the field as the number 4 seed from the SEC. This marks their 10th appearance all-time in the NCAA tournament. They'll be getting ready to face the number 13 seed, the Belmont Bruins. Finished the season with 20 wins. They're the regular season and tournament champions from the Atlantic Sun Conference. The Louisville Cardinals come in as the number 5 seed, finishing at 21-10. And they will take on the 12th seed, the Nicholls State Colonels from the Southland Conference, with 16 wins. Next up is the number 2 seed. The Pittsburgh Panthers are the regular season champion from the Big East. They'll be going up against the number 15 seed, the Howard Bison, with 18 wins. This is their third appearance ever in the NCAA tournament. Our number 7 seed is from the Ivy League. The Cornell Big Red had a tremendous year that included a regular season championship. They are going to play the number 10 seed, the Holy Cross Crusaders, who were regular season champions in their conference, finishing at 18-9. The Duke Blue Devils are in as the number 3 seed. They'll be taking on the number 14 seed, the Towson Tigers, with 20 wins. The St. Mary's Gales are in as the number 6 seed. They'll be taking on the number 11 seed, the Mustangs of Cal Poly, with 18 wins. This bracket has the potential to give us a sensational matchup in the regional final if everything goes according to form and the top 2 seeds can survive the early rounds. Next up, we'll take a look at the South Regional. The Maryland Terrapins are the top seed, finishing at 30-3. In the ACC, they'll take on the Fresno State Bulldogs, the number 16 ranked team. This is their 6th appearance in the NCAA tournament in school history. The Jaguars from IUPUI are in as the number 8 seed. They'll be taking on the number 9 seed, the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers, with 21 wins. The Texas Longhorns come in as the number 4 seed, finishing at 22-9. And they'll take on the 13th seed, the Gonzaga Bulldogs, from the West Coast Conference, with 19 wins. The Oregon Ducks enter the field as the number 5 seed from the Pac-10. This marks their 10th appearance in the NCAA tournament in team history. They'll be getting ready to face the number 12 seed, the Western Carolina Catamounts. Finished the season with 19 wins. They're the tournament champions from the Southern Conference. Our number 2 seed is from the SEC. The Alabama Crimson Tide had a tremendous year that included a regular season championship. They're going to play the number 15 seed, the Kent State Golden Flashes, who came in first in their conference tournament, finishing at 16-13. Next up is the number 7 seed. The Baylor Bears have established themselves as one of the best teams from the Big 12. They'll be going up against the number 10 seed, the Texas El Paso Miners, with 21 wins. They return once more to the very familiar surroundings of the NCAA tournament. The North Carolina Tar Heels are in as the number 3 seed. They'll be taking on the number 14 seed, the Rhode Island Rams, with 18 wins. And now the number 6 seed, the Michigan State Spartans, come into the tournament after finishing second in their conference during the regular season and were winners of their conference tournament. They are going to play the number 11 seed, the Tennessee State Tigers, who were semifinalists in their conference tournament, finishing at 20-8. What a tremendous regional final we'd have in this bracket if the number 1 and 2 seeds here make it through the first 3 rounds unscathed. That could be one of the games of the tournament. On to our third bracket of the day. Let's take a look at the Atlanta Regional. The Southern Miss Golden Eagles are the top seed, finishing at 28-4. In Conference USA, they'll take on the Robert Morris Colonials, the number 16 ranked team. This is their 6th appearance all time in the NCAA tournament. Our number 8 seed is from the Missouri Valley Conference. The Southern Illinois Salukis were rewarded for their outstanding play this season with an at-large bid and a ticket to the Big Dance. They're going to play the number 9 seed, the Illinois State Redbirds, who came in first in their conference tournament, finishing at 22-11. The Providence Friars enter the field as the number 4 seed from the Big East. This marks their 16th appearance in the NCAA tournament in the history of their school. They'll be getting ready to face the number 13 seed, the Loyola College Greyhounds. Finished the season with 20 wins. They're the regular season and tournament champions from the Metro Atlantic Conference. The Georgia Bulldogs are in as the number 5 seed. They'll be taking on the number 12 seed, the Wisconsin Milwaukee Panthers, with 17 wins. The Illinois Fighting Illini are in as the number 2 seed. They'll be taking on the number 15 seed, the Murray State Racers, with 19 wins. Next up is the number 7 seed. The UNLV Runnin' Rebels are the conference tournament and regular season champions from the Mountain West Conference. They'll be going up against the number 10 seed, the Eastern Kentucky Colonel, with 20 wins. This is their 9th appearance ever in the NCAA tournament. And now the number 3 seed, the Syracuse Orange, come into the tournament on the strength of a 3rd place finish in their conference regular season and finish 2nd in their conference tournament. They are going to play the number 14 seed, the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, who came in first in their conference tournament, finishing at 17-11. The Houston Cougars come in as the number 6 seed, finishing at 21-8. And they take on the 11th seed, the Titans of Cal State Fullerton, from the Big West, with 19 wins. I think this could wind up being the bracket that brings us this year's Cinderella story. A few of the higher seeds here have had terrific seasons, and I'll be surprised if at least one of them doesn't put together a long run in this tournament. And finally, let's have a look at the San Jose Regional. The Aggies of Texas A&M are the top seed, finishing at 27-7. In the Big 12, they'll take on the Virginia Tech Hokies, the number 16 ranked team. This is their 9th appearance in the NCAA tournament in school history. Next up is the number 8 seed. The Wagner Seahawks are the regular season champion from the Northeast Conference. They'll be going up against the number 9 seed, the James Madison Dukes, with 22 wins. This will be their 5th appearance in the NCAA tournament in the history of their school. The Villanova Wildcats are in as the number 4 seed. They'll be taking on the number 13 seed, the Weber State Wildcats, with 19 wins. The Western Michigan Broncos come in as the number 5 seed, finishing at 25-7. And they will take on the 12th seed, the Vermont Catamounts, from the America East Conference, with 16 wins. The St. Louis Billikens enter the field as the number 2 seed from the A-10 Conference. This is their 9th appearance in the NCAA tournament in team history. They'll be getting ready to face the number 15 seed, the Arkansas Razorbacks. Finished the season with 20 wins. They're the tournament champions from the SEC. And now the number 7 seed, the Washington Huskies, come into the tournament on the strength of a 3rd-place finish in their conference regular season and were losers in their first game at their conference tournament. They are going to play the number 10 seed, the Montana Grizzlies, who were regular season champions in their conference, finishing at 19-8. The Kentucky Wildcats are in as the number 3 seed. They'll be taking on the number 14 seed, Alabama A&M's Bulldogs, with 18 wins. Our number 6 seed is from the A-10 Conference. The George Washington Colonials were rewarded for their outstanding play this season with an at-large bid and a ticket to the big dance. They are going to play the number 11 seed, the Kansas State Wildcats, who were 4th in their conference, finishing at 18-10. On the surface, I'd have to say this regional might be the most difficult of the 4. Certainly the depth of quality teams here is very impressive. Whoever emerges from this bracket will have been through some battles. What are your thoughts on our top 16 seeds, Clark?
Maybe I haven't agreed with the selection committee every year, but I think they did a great job this time. The top 16 look just about right to me. The North Carolina Tar Heels are the most dangerous 3 seed in the tournament, in my opinion. They're a team that can be a very tough matchup for whomever they play.
Now, let's bring the conference picture into focus. The Big East gets 6 teams. The SEC with 5, 4 out of the ACC. The Big 12 gets 4 teams. The Pac-10 with 3 out of Conference USA.
What a down year for the non-power conference. We're used to seeing at least one of those conferences compete on the level of the power conferences, but not this year.
And let's not forget the teams out of the Big West. For a small conference, they competed at a very high level this year. Those teams could be the place to look if you're trying to find a Cinderella story in the tournament.
I'm surprised there were so few bids for the teams in the Mountain West Conference. It was an especially disappointing year for that conference. Usually you can count on a few of the nation's elite teams coming out of there, but this was a season where very few of those teams could maintain any type of positive momentum.
We showed you the bubble teams before. Now that we know who's in and who's out, what do you think of the selections, Clark?
The Cal State Fullerton Titans can finally exhale. I don't think there was a lot of doubt that they'd make it, but we've seen good teams get left out before, and you just know this was a nerve-wracking day for this squad.
While they start prepping for their first-round games, the 5 teams on the other side of the page will be full-time students again.
Louisiana Tech Bulldogs have the misfortune of not playing in a major conference, and we know that always is a handicap, at least on some occasions come Selection Sunday. They had a great year, but now it's NIT. Here we come.
All right, Clark, now that we know all the teams and matchups, time to get the tournament underway and let the madness take over.
Greg, let's throw the ball up right now. I can't wait to get started.